Today I'm going to tell you the story of Rounding Man and go over some of the rules for rounding. So, once upon a time, Rounding Man was running away from a ferocious dog who wanted to try and bite him in the bum. And unfortunately, Rounding Man realized he had come to a very tall brick wall. Now, if he was able to scramble over the wall, he would be safe from the dog. But if he doesn't, he is going to get licked and loved on by that overly friendly dog. So as he gets up here, if he doesn't even try to jump at all, he's just going to smack right into it. He can only reach to 5 feet tall. He's going to just fall down on the ground, right? That's not going to work. So if Rounding Man runs and jumps, but he's only able to get up to 1 foot off the ground, he won't be able to reach high enough to scramble over. He's going to fall back down. If he comes up and he jumps to 2, it will not be enough. He's going to fall back down. If he jumps to 3, it will not be enough. He will fall back down. If he jumps to 4, he will be so close, but he's not going to be able to get over the wall. He will fall back down. Now, if he can make it to 5 or more, he will barely be able to catch the top of that, and he'll be able to climb up and over into safety. If he gets to 6, oh yeah, he can climb over. If he gets to 7, oh yeah, he can climb over. 8, 9, oh well, 10, he just like hopped all the way up. So the rule on rounding is if it's 5 or more, you're going to be able to make it to round up and over the wall. If it is less than 5, if you don't get at least all the way up to 5, you aren't going to make it. You are going to round back down to where you started. So he's not going to fall through the earth. He's just going to go back down to where he started. So when we take this story and we translate it into math, anytime you get to the number 5, it's going to get you up and over. You will round up. If you get less than 5, you will round down, and he will end up staying here. So I will often say, go next door. Is it 5 or more? That means that you are going to have to check to see if that digit is 5 or more to round up. So let's take a moment and look at the rounding rules. Now, in order to round, you are going to want to follow these rules to help you keep track of what you're doing. So, first, a rounded number has about the same value as the number you start with, but it is less exact. For example, 341 rounded to the nearest hundred is 300. That's because 341 is closer in value to 300 than to 400. When rounding off to the nearest dollar, $1.89 becomes $2 because $1.89 is closer to $2 than to $1. If the number you are rounding is followed by 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, round the number up. Example, 38 rounded to the nearest 10 is 40. If the number you are rounding to is followed by 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, round the number down. Example, 33 rounded to the nearest 10 is 30. When rounding a number, you first need to ask, what are you rounding it to? Numbers can be rounded to the nearest 10, the nearest 100, the nearest 1,000, and so on. Consider the number 4,827. 4,827 rounded to the nearest 10 is 4,830. 4,827 rounded to the nearest 100 is 4,800. 4,827 rounded to the nearest 1,000 is 5,000. All the numbers to the right of the place you are rounding to become zeros. Here are some more examples. 34 rounded to the nearest 10 is 30. So you should see a 3 and then zeros. 6,809 rounded to the nearest hundred is 6,800. So there's zeros after the 8. 1,959 rounded to the nearest thousand is 2,000. So you see the digit 2 and then only zeros after that. So we are going to do just a couple here on our whiteboard. And the very first thing that we are going to do is just ask, what value are we rounding to? So let's say we have the number 2,436. If I am not given a quantity, you always assume that you round to the largest place value. If I just drop off the ones place, it's not going to be a very helpful estimate. I want to have simple numbers where it's one digit and just a bunch of zeros. So if you are not told what to round it to, always round it to the largest place value. So in this case, that would be the thousandths place. I'm going to underline it so I remember what I'm doing. I go next door. Is it 5 or more? Oh, it's not. That means that it is not going to be enough to round up. Remember Rounding Man? He is not going to get over, boom, he's going to fall back down. So the 2 will stay the same. It will not round up. It won't go down. It will just stay the same. And then all these place values become zeros. So the 2 needs to stay in the thousandths place. If I don't put in my zeros, I have very much changed the number. 2 is not the same as 2,000. I would be happy to have somebody give me $2,000. Not as happy for $2, although I'd still be joyed. So here I have 2,436. That is going to be closer to 2,000 than to 3,000. Let's do one more. So if we have 78,599, if I don't tell you what to round it to, you always round to the largest place value. In this case, it would be the 10,000ths place. When I go next door, is it 5 or more? Yes. That means I am closer to 80,000 than to drop all the way down to 70,000. So this number will round up to an 8, and then all the rest of these will become zeros. 80,000 is what this number will round to. But let's say that I say, no, I need it to the nearest 100. So then I would go next door. I see that, oh, it is indeed 5 or more. So in that case, I would keep the 7. I would keep the 8. The 5 would round up, and then the other 2 place values would become zeros. I'll use my little about sign here to say that 78,599 is about 78,600. In fact, it's only one off from that. Let me clear this, and we'll do just a couple more. Let's say I have the number 70,999. Now, if I am rounding to the largest place value, go next door, is it 5 or more? No. It doesn't matter that all the rest are 9s. If this digit is 5 or more, it rounds up. If it's not, it stays. So I would keep the 7, and everything else would round down to zeros. Now, what if instead I wanted to round this to the nearest tens place? Well, I go next door. Is it 5 or more? Yes. However, I'm already at a 9. I can't fit a 10. So what ends up happening is this will round up to a 10, which means I have to carry that over here, which will make that round up, which will make me carry a 1 over here. So in that case, I would end up with 71 6,000. So rounded to the nearest 10, this 9 makes that one round up, that makes that one, that makes that. So if you think about it logically, 70,999 is closer to 71,000 than to 70,990. Now, if all else fails and you get confused, imagine it on a number line. And when you write it out on a number line, that will really help it make sense. So let's do one last one. 653. Now, if I'm rounding this to the nearest 100, I'm trying to say, where are we at? Are we closer to 600 or are we closer to 700? And when I look at this and I go next door, is it 5 or more? Yes, it is just barely on this side of halfway, which means I am indeed closer to 700 than to 6. So this will change to a 7, and then the other two place values will become a 0. So 653 is about or close to 700. It's closer to 700 than it is to 600.